If you just joined us, you're welcome. It's not too late because our very important conversation which we began yesterday regarding land acquisition here in Accra, most importantly, because this is where all the scrambling is happening. So we've been talking about that from yesterday, and we decided that we're going to wrap up with that particular conversation this morning. And I have in the studio with me my very beautiful ladies who joined us yesterday. Pearl Roxon, she is a senior land administration officer at the Lands Commission, and also Eunice Opoku, she is the assistant communications officer at the Land Commission, and they've joined me this morning so we can wrap up with the conversations we're having yesterday. I think yesterday, Eunice, we left off at the point where we're talking about the land title registration, the duration for the land title registration, and one of the things we said was the reason for the delay in the the title. I mean, you spoke about between 2 months and 3 months to acquire your land title registration. And yesterday I was thinking, couldn't that be an incentive for people to want to bypass the system if they can get it done earlier than that?
Yeah, okay. So yesterday we did mention that there are a number of issues that have actually accounted for these delays and what have you. So, well, the advice again is that if you really want to have your document registered in time, you have to do your due diligence, make sure that you are getting the document from the rightful owners, and then check with the Lands Commission, check again. And now that the Lands Commission is actually going digital, and we have most of the services that we render online, one could just create an account on our portal, onlineservices.lc.gov.gh. When you go there, you would find some of our services listed there. You just scan your site plan. If it's a search you want to conduct, there are specifications, so you just go by it, and then you can have your search done online. When the report is ready, the applicant is prompted. In fact, there are a number of platforms, banking platforms, so about 24 banks are available on that portal. So you make payment online, and then you can access the report online. So the Lands Commission, to a very large extent, is actually going digital, making sure that people can access our services more easily than before.
Yeah, right. So I think yesterday we were also talking about one guy sent in a message and said that the uncle was trying to snatch the land from him, and I was going to ask that what options are available to people who feel that they legitimately own a certain land, and but someone is trying to take it away from them. What options are available to you in that instance?
Yeah, so if basically the person has documents proving that he owns the land, I mean, you can, if ADR actually fails, alternative dispute resolution mechanisms or methods or whatever we try to do to resolve issues outside court, all of these fail, then he can pursue a legal action against the uncle. Then that will get to look into the documents you have. If everything points out to the fact that you actually own the land, why not? It shall be ruled in your favor. And so the pursue legal action. Yeah, you come to the Lands Commission, show your documents. We have lawyers around who can help vet your document and be sure that what you are holding actually depicts that you are on ground, you are in possession, and then you're occupying the land, and everything shows that the land is for you. Why not? But if that fails, the only option available is to go to court.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Someone, come in. Yeah, Pearl.
Something to it. So a land certificate, which is issued after registration per the laws of Ghana, is a conclusive evidence
that the land belongs
Exactly.
to party A or B or C.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that title is indefeasible.
Okay.
So once you have registered your interest, you've been issued a certificate on that parcel of land to reflect your interest, that's a conclusive evidence that the parcel of land belongs to you.
I see.
And that will be upheld by the courts.
I see.
That's
and
what we should have actually asked. Was it a certificate he had? Or it's just an indenture? Because you know what, Ghanaians sometimes refer to indentures as certificates. They have certificates to the land. I have the land. I mean, I have
the land document.
Yes, I have the land document. But you go and realize that, the person is actually talking about an indenture, what we spoke about yesterday, like the contract. So that is not a certificate.
Okay.
The only thing that secures your land is by getting your certificate. So in his instance, if we realize that it's just an indenture, then we are going nowhere.
Yeah.
Yes. But if indeed he has certificates, like my colleague mentioned, then
Are there situations where you can have double certificates on one
it
land?
rarely happens. It rarely happens, because trust me, the Lands Commission also does its own internal due diligence before issuing out certificates. We just don't get up and issue certificates.
So it's actually possible, is it?
Well, it rarely. I have.
Is it impossible or it is possible?
It's a human institution.
Counsel.
Errors may come. But
You
I
are
do not
seeing me
want to
like
say
a
it's
judge.
impossible, but I am saying that for the years that I've been with the Lands Commission, I think I haven't even heard of an issue of that nature. I don't know if my colleague has.
It doesn't happen that
Okay.
a parcel of land would have two different title certificates. No. However, in times past,
When things were manual.
when I say times past, I mean like years ago,
Okay.
decades ago.
Okay.
We hadn't begun plotting the interests.
Okay.
And this is somewhere in the 80s.
Okay.
So in those cases, you may find once in a while, one in about 1 million certificates issued, one in about 1 million or more. It could happen, but it's not something that we would say is a daily occurrence, no.
Okay.
Because once an interest is registered, that parcel is blocked out on our sheets.
Okay.
And any other parcel.
And you have your there is a code
Yes.
that blocks it.
There's
Yes.
a unique number
That's why it
that
will be
is
so
generated
difficult
for that particular application.
Okay.
And unless there is another interest coming out of that application, so that let's say that
Transfer.
registration we did was for a 99-year lease, and then that person is given a sublease of, let's say, 70 years to another person. That
Okay.
is the only situation whereby there will be another transaction on that particular parcel of
Okay.
land. Else, once it's registered, another title will not be issued to another person.
Because I hear that time and again that even if you register the land and you have the land title, you are not safe. You know, people say this.
Oh,
that even with the
that's-
land title, you are not safe.
That is not true.
That's a mere perception.
Right.
I don't think it's
Right.
true, because with that certificate is certificate, and it's
and that is
legitimate.
legally conclusive.
Exactly.
Right. Now, someone is asking that they have an indenture. The one who sold the land to them actually signed, but the witness has not signed. Is the person safe? And the person is asking that.
Okay, so there are requirements that makes every contract valid when it comes to landed documents.
Right.
These requirements include all the signatories, which are the grantor, the grantees, and their witnesses.
Okay.
Without any of them signing, the document is not valid.
I see. That's interesting. So the one who asked that question,
You know, when you submit the document at the CSAU, we have officers who would vet your documents. So if they realize that a portion is not signed, like the witness portion is not signed, they will prompt you. They will give back your documents to you to go and have it signed before you bring it. That's why they are put there. They actually go through your documents to be sure that they have a checklist, actually. So once you don't meet it, they prompt you. So there and there, you're given back your document to go and make sure everything is complete
Right.
before you submit your document.
Right. This one says, hello, my name is Awal. That is, what is the difference between land title certificate and provisional title? Says, what's the difference?
Okay. So what he's trying to say is the provisional title.
Okay, title, all right. Yeah.
Now we have a substantive land certificate and a provisional land certificate. The law has made provision for provisional land certificates to be issued in certain instances. Now, a substantive certificate is issued when throughout the process we see that everything is in your favor. Your documents are intact, there are no adverse claims, you are in possession. There's nothing to hold us back. Then we issue a substantive certificate. Now, when it comes to a provisional land certificate, there are instances where even though the person is in possession of the land and he has documents, there are a few things here and there that is making his documents, for lack of a better word, let me say defective. Yes. And in those instances, we would not completely say we are rejecting your application because of something that could be remedied later on.
So unless we are
of course,
80% convinced that to some extent, well, we are okay to give you the certificate.
Unless,
However,
of course,
in the
there
future,
is a big adverse claim. There's an adverse interest, there are conflicts, then no. But if for one reason or another, so let's say you're supposed to produce a head lease. You're supposed to give. So I got the document from the Dodu family.
Okay.
I sold it to you.
Right.
You are doing your registration. Then the office asks you to give us a copy of the transaction between the Dodu family and I.
Okay.
You are unable to get that document.
Okay.
For us to confirm. However, our site inspection and everything proves that you are in possession of the land. You are on the ground. The law provides that since you are in possession of the land, and your documents is showing that is emanating from this person, it's just that you haven't been able to furnish the office with this copy, we'll give you a provisional land certificate.
Okay.
For a duration of 12 years.
Okay.
If after 12 years
nothing comes up,
nothing
no
untoward
one
comes up,
yeah,
you can apply to the office,
to
and
regulate.
then we would convert it to a substantive title.
Sweet.
Another instance is we issue the provisional certificate. 2 years down the line, you've got that document we were asking for. You apply to the office with that document.
And
The
say, "Oh, I have
reason
it
why
now."
we
Right.
gave you the provisional, if you've been able to resolve it, then you come back to the office,
see.
and then we'll regularize it for you.
These are very interesting education, and many of us wouldn't have known this, and it doesn't matter our level of academic qualification. If you don't know, you don't know, and that's it. Someone is asking, why is registering land very expensive? Is it to deter people from registering their land? I think we addressed that issue yesterday. Anyway, let me read some quick messages. Well. So I think that one of the things I want us to do this morning is to also concentrate some more on your own the Land Commission's own initiatives in terms of the sort of education you want to give to our people.
Okay.
Let's look at some critical areas you think that from your experience people have been lagging behind in terms of knowledge in these areas, and that is why some of them lose their lands.
Okay. So one of the things we want the public to be aware of is with this new Land Act 2020, Act 1036, one cannot grant a freehold, meaning that you cannot give land in perpetuity. Yes. So if somebody gives you an indenture and doesn't give a period or a duration for which he is leasing the land to you, we cannot accept it. You bring such a document to the Lands Commission, it shall be rejected. So state the period for which you are leasing the land to the party that is involved. And then again, for Ghanaians, for foreigners cannot go beyond 50 years. They can't get a lease for more than 50 years. But for citizens, Ghanaians, we can do 100 years, 99 years. 99 years. And so from maybe today going, if the information is not out there, we are just saying that with this new Land Act, you cannot grant a freehold to any party. You can't give land in perpetuity. You need to state the period for which, gone are the days people will just say, I've given the land to you forever and ever. It is not done. Yes, state the period. The duration should be stated in the indenture. And I think Pearl has some more to add.
Yeah, Pearl.
Yes, so in line with the same issue, when we say foreigners, we are talking about people who are not citizens of Ghana.
Right.
Now, we notice that during the registration process, we would request for an ID. And then people will bring us a British passport, a German passport. Once you submit that, you are telling us you are not Ghanaian.
Right.
So if you bring that, we'll treat you as a foreigner.
Right.
And whatever interest you have in the land will be reduced to a 50-year lease. So please, we want the public to know, if they are outside the country, at least they should have some sort of Ghanaian
identification,
citizenship, so that, because we have these issues, people come to the office and say, you see, my name is Yamansa.
Yeah, see, I'm a foreigner.
And yet, so if they could pay attention to that for us, that would be very good, yes.
Right. And then with the customary land authorities, this act actually mandates them to set up a customary land secretariat.
Okay.
And that would keep records of all the land transactions that you're doing.
Okay.
So the issues about the multiple sale of lands, I'm sure would be a thing of the past with this coming into being, with this
because
act
you go
coming
and check.
into being. Exactly. Because if this area is demarcated for Unisopoku, I'm not too sure in your register or in your books, you may want to come back tomorrow again and see Per Roxon's name there
on the same,
because there's a register
parcel.
it tells you that set up a secretariat, put people who can read and write, and so maybe a surveyor even on board, so that if you go and give land out there to party A tomorrow, you don't bring a different person to same land and say that, oh, Afameniso. No, those things can't be tolerated now. With this new Land Act, it criminalizes the offense, the act. So the public should be out there, look out for all of these. So customary land secretariats are mandatory now. So for customary land owners, we are telling you that you need to set up your land secretariat where you have records of all your land transactions, and then Lands Commission will be privy to it, so that when you are dealing with us, we also know that these lands have been given out and these are the areas you are working in on all that, and so the public should look out for that.
Now, if I start the land title registration process, does that make me the landowner? If I'm the one who started the process?
So for me, a simple advice is that once you have your indenture, don't sit home.
Okay.
Rush to the Lands Commission and go and register your interest.
Okay.
As one sure way to secure your land. Yes, as we keep learning, having an indenture alone is just about 20% of the whole process. Yes, you are not through yet. So you have an indenture which states where you are taking your land from, your lease and everything, a document, a contractual document. Come to the Lands Commission and register it. So having an indenture alone cannot help.
Okay.
Yes, because for all you know, 3 more people out there are having an indenture to same parcel. So whoever comes to the Lands Commission first, I'm sure will be granted a certificate, and you will be home having your indenture saying that you have registered your land. No, it's not right. So,
now, go ahead,
yes, and we can't say too that once you submit your documents, you are the owner,
right,
until the certificate is issued. Because there are instances where the documents are submitted, but then there are issues along the line where we are not able to approve it.
Maybe you publish and then someone comes up
brings
and
an
say,
objection, and the person has better title than you. Sometimes you submit, and then in our records we see that there's a judgment or there's a caveat. So the fact that you've submitted doesn't necessarily make you the owner. You only have that legal backing when the process is complete and title is issued in your name. Then you can rest.
Right. Now, if I have an indenture, so yesterday we gave an example. So Eunice is the family, Opoku. The Opoku family sold the land to you, Pearl. So they have given an indenture. Now you have sold the land to me. And then can I go with just a written contract and not a new indenture? Just a written contract between you and I to say that you have sold the land to me, or you necessarily have to also prepare a new indenture that shows the flow of transfer from the Opoku family to you and then to you to me.
Yes, so per the conveyancing laws of Ghana, every conveyance of land needs certain special requirements. And those are the requirements that are put in an indenture. So you realize that the covenants and all those information in the indenture is not just there for fun. It's a legal requirement. And that is why we can't just, by way of a letter, say that I've issued the land to you, I signed.
Like we do for car transfer.
Exactly,
just write a letter.
Exactly, because the conveyancing laws have made it very clear that there are certain things that need to be in the indenture. The covenants, the signatories, the parties, everything. So all those things have to be part of the indenture.
Before we go on to the telephones, the very last question I want to ask. So we are saying that the one who sells the land is the one responsible for making the indenture and whatever cost it comes with to the one they sold the land to. Is that the case? Or if I buy the land?
Well, so if I'm buying from you, definitely you have the history and everything of the land. It should emanate from your end. The seller, let's say the seller of the land, should help in preparing the indenture for the buyer. So, because you have everything, the information on the land, and those who are supposed to even sign and all those things. So, if you say, I own the land, but I don't have an indenture, then what are we talking about here?
Okay.
Yes. So, I mean, in rare cases where the people don't have an indenture, well, so, like we mentioned yesterday, take a surveyor to site. Come check with the Lands Commission and see what records information we have. And then see if indeed the man who claims to own the land actually has his interest registered with the Lands Commission.
But we always need to insist as buyers for the sellers to give us documents.
Okay.
Because just like the example we gave, I bought it from Opoku family. For the agreement between Opoku family and I, there may be agreements for lease, for the rent. For certain things I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to use the property for residential purposes. I'm supposed to get consent if I want to sublet and all those things. Those ones are between Opoku family and I. So if I am giving you the land, you need to make sure that you will comply with all those covenants. And the only way you would know
is to see
if I give you documents reflecting those covenants. And that is why you need to insist that I give you documents, because I know the agreement between Opoku family and I know the covenants and all those things.
I think I've been educated enough from yesterday till today. A lot of revelations, and these are very petty, things that can make the ordinary Ghanaian lose their lands.
Exactly. And
like I'm saying, it doesn't matter your level of qualification. If you don't know, you don't know. And absolutely that is the case.
So there was one person who talked about double sale by the chiefs. Now, this Land Act, as I said yesterday, has made the double sale by the chiefs criminal, because the chiefs are supposed to act as fiduciaries so that they would render an account on all the lands, the management and everything. So once a land has been sold twice, when we look at section 13 of the Land Act, it talks about good management of stool and skin lands. And if the chief fails to do that, it makes a provision that he commits offense and is liable to summary conviction. So if the chief has sold land twice, per this law, the person can seek legal action against the chief. He shouldn't just be in his room and feel sad about it and not know what action to take. He should go to court. So that's what I have to say about that. Yes.
Okay, but you have the other questions, right?
Yes. So there's another person who's asking about the union buying land for the drivers. Per what I understood from his question, the union procure the land as one for the drivers. So what they can do is that the union, as a collective body, can prepare documents for the individual drivers. Because in this
union,
case,
we better prepare documents now. Individual drivers.
Okay. As no motoy no.
Union no
eto wani dim. But see I say drivers no mako ni nyina anya omodie. Nti union no betumi aye documents ama drivers no. Nti surveyor eko site wa ebia driver Kofi no wa kire say me de na dahe na surveyor na peke driver Kojo ne die ni na surveyor na peke omo peke ni nyina omo ye site plan dodo ni nyina awia na fe union no ahwe plans no so e dey prepare indenture ama obia
any Frank Nero so are not so friend
any Frank Nero no so to me the documents na ba be any registration this are no betumi aye.
Okay. I think we had some more questions.
Yes, we did.
I think the other gentleman also asked about the fact that if he has actually commenced the process of registration and his name is being plotted, if someone else could, what usually we experience is that when we receive the document, when we have your indenture, we also do our internal due diligence. We conduct searches within to be sure of what is there. So at survey and mapping, when it gets there and we realize that there is a name there, or as you presented your document, there's another person coming in. Your document is declared as a multiple request issue. And so the other party is being invited. Come tell us how come Ojo Mansa is asking us to register the interest and you are also coming in. So we sit and then we look into the issues.
You trace the history.
Exactly,
and so
because
on.
it's same parcel, but we have two people
Yeah.
who have documents with that. Maybe a week after we received yours for same land. So once your name is plotted, I think it becomes difficult for us to do anything about it, because once it is plotted, we have gone halfway through the process. Yeah, so at survey and mapping, if there's no issue, then Land Title Division would request a cadastral plan that provide us with a plan, because we've done our checks with PVLMD, Public Invested Land Management Division, and there are no encumbrances, there are no issues, it's not a government land, and all that. We are okay with what information we have in our records. So we go to Survey and Mapping Division. Can you also furnish us with what records information are available? Then they also tell you there's no name, the place is okay. And the land title again will tell us if there is an already certificate that exists. Somebody has certificate on that parcel. If there isn't and we are satisfied, we go ahead and request a cadastral plan from the Survey and Mapping Division. And that's where your name will be plotted. Yeah, I don't know if Pearl may want to add something.
And when he talks about plotting, we need to know exactly what he's talking about, okay?
Right.
Because prior to the coming into force of the land registration law, which has been repealed by the
new
Land
law.
Act, but prior to coming into force of that, we were doing registration under the Act 122, that is the deeds registration. Now, under that one, people had their documents registered under the deeds registration and had it plotted. Now, that registration was not registering the interest. It was just registering the deed. So if your name or your document had been plotted under that, it is not registration as we speak now. So even though you might conduct a search and you will see that plotting is not tantamount to registration. So when he says plotted, another thing too, as she was saying, is that during the registration process, you have your cadastral plans prepared. Once these cadastral plans are prepared, they are plotted in the records of the Survey and Mapping Division. But that one also does not amount to registration.
Right.
So despite the fact that your plan that has been prepared has been plotted, it doesn't mean that the document has been, the interest has been registered until the final certificate is issued. So yes, as I said earlier, during the course of the registration, until the certificate is issued, yes, there could be claims on the same land. It's only when the title is issued in your name, then you are sure that,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Someone also asked of the price for registering a land. They mentioned that when you go to Koforidua, and I think we spoke about that yesterday, that in registering a
in the
land.
other regions where they do deed registration, it's even quite cheaper.
Okay,
than
so it should
in
be
Accra.
it should be it should
And
be less than
faster.
1,000 cedis
Oh,
for a
it should
plot.
be.
For
It
a
should
plot.
be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, sir, if you're listening to me, I think Nana Kwame or so, if you're listening to us,
You should avoid the middlemen.
yeah,
The Goro
avoid
boys.
the Goro
Go
boys.
straight to
Otherwise,
our
you will pay
offices.
30,000
Exactly.
and 40,000.
They will
Yeah.
mention some outrageous.
I see.
Yes. So go straight to the Lands Commission.
Now, if I have it, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
In the regions, we are doing 2 weeks. 2 weeks for deed registration.
I see.
Yeah. It's only here in Accra that we sometimes experience the delays, and we have explained why we have the delays.
So if I have a land in Accra, can I maybe go to Koforidua and register it, or I have to register it in Accra?
We have decentralized our operations. Our services are down there in all the regions.
Okay.
So for every region, we have a Lands Commission office, and in some districts as well.
Okay.
Even Tema, we have a district office which is very, very vibrant, and so you could go there. But if you are in Accra and your land is in Accra, you come to the Lands Commission's office here at Cantonment, and then we have the various compounds. You are not co-located, but you
Right.
see Survey and Mapping Division
Right.
over there.
Right.
You go down there, you have the new office where we have PVLMD and then some other offices there.
Right.
So if you are located within a specific region area, in any region you find yourself, there's a Lands Commission office. That's what I want to say. So make sure you go to the office there and don't travel outside to go and have your registration.
And this
done.
misconception that if you bought a land and you don't touch it for some number of years, you lose it. For 7 years, I hear 7 years, someone can come and develop it, and you can't.
It's not a misconception.
Oh, really?
No.
Tell me about it.
So the Limitations Act
Okay.
gives a cap on landed property, that if you have a landed property and you leave it for a duration of 12 years.
Okay.
Consistently, you don't go on the land. You stand a chance of having an adverse possessor going onto the land and taking adverse possession.
And it could be anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone at all.
Many people can even claim the land.
Once
you
it's
put
12
someone
years, you
on
don't
the
come.
land
I
and
see.
you don't come. You don't make any appearance.
12
You don't
years.
do anything. You
Then
don't.
I'll go and put cameras around lands and be monitoring. Once the people don't come for after 12 years, I go and pick the land. Okay.
Yeah, but one person mentioned that he's building on his land and people are building on his land and he goes there and they are threatening.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think it's a similar situation with the woman.
Yes, we mentioned land guard. The Land Act, Section 12, has made it criminal that anybody who is purporting to exercise supervision and he has no interest or he's extorting money, he's unlawfully using force, all these people are committing an offense. And the interesting thing is that the law didn't even give an option for a fine for the land guards. It gives them a prison sentence. So if this is happening to you, he should proceed to court, make it take a criminal action against them because the law is very clear on it.
And the woman's situation, the woman who called and said
the Ashalaja woman. Yes, that one is also another issue because she's saying that one person sold to them, another person is claiming he has the right to sell. Yes, so this one too, as she's done, it's good that they've proceeded to the police. It would most likely go to court. Once they establish who is the rightful person to alienate lands, the issues will be resolved.
Okay. Your concluding remarks.
So, well, the police, our security agencies must be well trained. And so the Lands Commission has taken steps to engage them, to run a number of training programs for them to really appreciate. Yes, because if they are enforcers and they don't really understand what the Land Act is all about, it will be an exercise in futility. So we have identified major stakeholders that must understand what is in the act, and one of them is the police. Yes, so for some of these acts that have been considered criminal, the police must understand, so that when you run to them for help, they can help you. Pearl,
your concluding remarks?
Yes, so just like we mentioned yesterday, we need to exercise a lot of caution and do our due diligence before entering into any transaction on land. Do the necessary checks, both on the ground at the Lands Commission, before we enter into anything.
Eunice, communication. Is there anywhere we can go if we need further information?
Yes.
Maybe someone has more questions. You have a website?
So we have a website, lc.gov.gh. You can go there, and then again at our CSAU, where I mentioned that you can go there, where we have trained officers who would walk you through the processes, who would help you, guide you, and we have a checklist. So once you don't meet the checklist, they prompt you, you go back and do what is necessary, and then you submit your documents. And our number at the CSAU is 0303 969687.
0303
9687. Call and then ask all the questions.
So 0303 969687. Okay. Thank you so much, ladies. I'm very grateful for spending time with me yesterday and also accepting my request to appear on the show today. That is rare, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
Thank you so very much for the time. I know airtime is very expensive. For Zylofon, you're doing so well.
Yeah, we are grateful. For
what you're doing for Mother Ghana.
Great. Folks, let me say a big thank you to you for being a part of the show all the way from 6 a.m. up until now. Special thanks to my people here in the studio, Elon Maliko, and of course, Samira Mohamed Ibn Moro. Let me also say a big thank you to the technical crew, Emeka Okpara and Director Beku. These people made it possible for you to stream live on our Facebook platform and also on our TV platform. A big one to you, Theophilus Peculiar, for the digital communication, and one big one to you, our producer, Bright Jaka. Folks, I'll be back on your airwaves tomorrow with a Thursday's edition of the Statecraft here on Zylofon 102.1 FM.